What's up? It's Tom. Thanks for clicking on this video. We're talking about a Twins loss today, unfortunately. The Twins and Guardians speed ran through today's game. A 2-1 game in which only a grand total of 8 hits, 4 on each side, fell in. It was not a whole lot to talk about in this game. Not a whole lot to react to. It was frustrating. The game was right there to be taken, but again, a quick game. I think Terry Ryan's pregame speech, induction speech into the Twins Hall of Fame was longer than this game. Not throwing any shade at Terry, but I think he thanked by name individually every person he's ever worked with, which, that seems like a classic Terry Ryan move to make his Hall of Fame induction speech all about everybody else, but happy to see him honored. I suppose I should bring back that statement that there wasn't much to react to because Simeon Woods Richardson's outing, there is plenty to react to there. Yes, the Twins lost. Cleveland finally snapped that 7-game losing streak they'd been on, but it was not due to Simeon Woods Richardson's effort. That's a career-high 7 innings pitched for Simeon Woods Richardson. Hadn't looked as sharp his last couple outings. A lot of people were kind of wondering, this guy's kind of reaching an innings plateau that he's never reached before. Is this going to be the new normal for him where he's just going to struggle the rest of the year? And he came out and said, nope, I got this. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, no walks for Simeon Woods Richardson. Doesn't even get to 90 pitches in 7 innings. Does give up 2 solo home runs. That's what did him in. Those were pretty good pitches to hit as well, but only 4 hits altogether. Pitched great. The Twins usually win this game. That was a great effort from him. Josh Winder even looked good. But from the hitting side, usually when the Twins have this bad of an output, it's like, they struck out 12 times or whatever. And this is a different Twins team than the past couple of years. They're not striking out nearly as much. But only 6 strikeouts tonight. It's like they only score 1 run. They only strike out 6 times. They weren't hitting the ball as hard as they were yesterday, so it wasn't one of these games where you're like pulling your hair out because the Twins are just hitting the crap out of the ball and not getting anything to show for it. And of course, there were some hard balls that were outs, but that always happens a little bit. They were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Obviously, that doesn't help. Ryan Jeffers had a base running. It's hard to call it like a mistake. It was an in-between play. Should have been a hit. It was a ball that fell in that Jeffers didn't run on. He thought it was going to get caught. It wasn't, and then he was thrown out on a force out. If he goes and that ball's caught, he gets doubled off, and it was an in-betweener. It was tough, hard to fault him. It would have been a good base running play if he would have judged it correctly, but I have a hard time necessarily going the other way and saying it was really bad base running play that he didn't read that correctly. Especially with how good Cleveland is at getting to everything in the field. But that was a huge moment in the game. The Twins still had opportunities in that inning, too, so it's not like that base running decision by Jeffers completely sank that rally. Again, the Twins were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, so they did have some opportunities to do more. And again, Cleveland's 2 runs were on solo homers. They didn't have a single at-bat with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 0 with runners in scoring position. Not a single at-bat with a runner in scoring position, and they won. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I don't know how to look that up on the Baseball Reference, but a pretty crazy stat. Anyway, Aaron Gleeman threw out that the Twins are now 32-2. This is only their 2nd loss when allowing 2 runs or fewer. So again, the Twins usually win this game. Gavin Williams just had him off balance. I don't know. Again, it's not like he was dominant. He has great stuff. He has great velocity. But again, the Twins only struck out 6 times in the entire game. It's not like he just overpowered the Twins. He kept them off balance. Just weren't getting a lot of hard contact. You get guys swinging on both sides. Again, this was a sub-2-hour game. That absolutely flew by. So anyway, after yesterday's sweep, the Twins lose a game that was within reach today. Frustrating, but tomorrow we're going to go with David Festa, and we'll see. He's been pitching great lately. This is a big test. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see, and that'll be tomorrow afternoon at Target Field. So moving on over to the minor league action, and the big news of the day is that Kaelen Culpepper hit his first professional home run. Exit velocity of 103.5. We don't have a full broadcast of this, but luckily the Mighty Mussels social team shared that center field camera feed that they have access to. So pretty cool. The Twins' first-round pick from this year really lighting it up in his first couple professional games. That's super fun. But Adrian Bohorquez, this is the guy, 19 years old, spent most of this year in the FCL, pitched pretty well. Some numbers that really stood out there. Promoted up to Fort Myers to continue his season. He pitched well today, missed a bunch of bats, topped out at 96.8 miles per hour. Again, this is a 19-year-old guy. Had a breaking ball that had a spin rate in excess of 3,000 RPM. Griffin Jacks is pretty much the only guy in the Twins that can do that. So that's pretty insane. Classified as a curveball. You see mostly a fastball cutter guy. We'll take a look at his line in just a moment here. Moving on over to some actual highlights from the games that were available with broadcast. Tanner Schobel continues to play really well. 7 home runs in his last 22 games. Not the biggest guy, but hit for a ton of power in college, hit for a ton of power in Cedar Rapids, and then got promoted to Wichita, and it just disappeared for a long time. And so that's really encouraging. Connor Prielipp, 5 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. Once again, that's what he did last outing. Really looked good for 2 innings, and then in the 3rd inning, walked a couple guys. I believe those ended up scoring, so his line, not against him, against whoever came in relief, so his line looks a little bit muddier than it could have. But missed bats, looking good, looking tough to hit against. And both those guys, Tanner Schobel and Connor Prielipp, were second-round picks back in 2022. Prielipp was the number 48 overall pick. Schobel was the number 68 overall pick. And they're both kind of, in some ways, sort of cherries on top of the system at this point. Obviously, pretty big draft capital was put into both, pretty big signing bonuses put into both, so I don't want to make it sound like, these are some unheralded guys on the come-up, But what I mean by that is, like, multiple publications now have put the Twins minor league system inside the top 5 in all of baseball, and that's with Tanner Schobel looking pretty bad for like a year. That's with Connor Prielipp being injured forever, basically. So it's like, all right, you already have a top 5 system according to these experts. Again, that's not me. That's ESPN, that's Baseball America. What happens if these guys, who were highly heralded guys, very talented players, if all of a sudden Schobel finds himself again, if Prielipp can stay healthy, like that's what's crazy to me, is that the system is this good and there are some super talented guys who are not anywhere near what it feels like their potential could be. So that's just another layer of the excitement. And it was a good night too for some other guys that are a little bit under the radar, or I think kind of have become forgotten. I'll even put myself on this one for Travis Adams, who had a great game. Travis Adams, 2 seasons ago, had a really good first full professional season, was really looking great. Then last year spent all season in Wichita and struggled. He has come back. He struggled earlier this year. He has been really good. You see there at the bottom line, he had a good game tonight. At the bottom line there, a 2.87 ERA, 1.03 whip, and 8.9 K per 9 over his last 10 starts for Travis Adams in Double-A. There you see Bohorquez again. He struck out 6 guys in 4 innings. We took a look at some of his under-the-hood stuff a moment ago. So some good stuff going on in the minor league pitching still. We've talked about the pitching pipeline the last 2 nights. And again, you can even kind of dig down to there's a guy, Travis Adams, where in other years, this would have stuck out more. I would have been more on this run of Travis Adams. And Adrian Bohorquez is a guy who some people are getting excited about, a top 20 prospect at Fangraphs. Really caught their eye. He's in my top 30. Exciting young player. Patrick Winkle is another guy who I got pretty excited about late last year / this offseason. He's a catcher who got called up to the Saints. Really, really struggled in the early going of this season. So he had a good game today, But not even including that performance, over his previous 100 plate appearances, he has hit 300 with a 370 OBP and a 478 slugging as a catcher in AAA. So for him to be turning it up, and again, he's another guy to where, much like Schobel, there's no hot streak possible that's going to really turn around his year-to-date numbers. But you look at that's 100 plate appearances. Again, even coming into tonight, not even counting this good game that he had. That's not a tiny sample, so nice to see out of him. Kaelen Culpepper, again, first home run of his career. Congratulations on that. A ton of these guys who were drafted this season have come into the Mighty Mussels and done some fun stuff. Twins lose, Saints lose, but everybody else wins. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. We'll talk again soon.